Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable, but it could save your life. Have you noticed that simple things aren't as easy as they used to be? Maybe it takes longer to recover after a walk. Maybe your energy fades by mid-afternoon. Or maybe, and this is the part most men won't admit, things in the bedroom just aren't working the way they once did. Here's what your doctor probably didn't tell you. These aren't separate problems. They're all connected to one invisible molecule your body has stopped producing. I'm talking about nitric oxide, and by age 65, you're making 50% less of it than you did at 30. That's not just about erections or stamina. This is about your heart, your brain, and your ability to stay independent as you age. Without enough nitric oxide, your blood vessels can't relax. Your blood pressure climbs. Your circulation weakens. And over time, that restricted blood flow affects everything from your cognitive function to your risk of vascular dementia. But here's the good news. You can fix this naturally. Today, I'm going to walk you through the top 5 foods that boost nitric oxide and the supplements that actually work for men over 60. But stay with me until the end, because I'm going to reveal a hidden mistake most seniors make every single morning that silently destroys their body's ability to produce nitric oxide. And once you know it, you'll understand why nothing else has been working. Let me start with a question that might change how you think about vegetables forever. If I told you there was one simple food, something you could pick up at any grocery store, that could lower your blood pressure in just 3 hours and improve blood flow to the areas that matter most, would you eat it? I'm not talking about some exotic superfood from the Amazon rainforest. I'm talking about something so ordinary that most men walk right past it in the produce aisle without a second thought. I'm talking about beets. Now I know what you're thinking. Doc, beets, really? That's the big secret. But gentlemen, hear me out. Because what I'm about to share with you isn't some health blogger's opinion or a trendy diet tip. This is backed by real science and NIH-funded research that shows beetroot can significantly lower systolic blood pressure in seniors by relaxing your blood vessels. And when I say areas that matter most, I mean everywhere. Your heart, your brain, your legs, and yes, your penis. Because better blood flow doesn't discriminate. When your circulation improves, everything works better. Let me explain exactly why beets are so powerful. Beets are absolutely loaded with something called inorganic nitrates. Now don't let that word inorganic scare you. This isn't some chemical you need to avoid. These are natural compounds that your body is designed to use. Here's what happens when you eat a beet. Those nitrates enter your digestive system and begin a remarkable transformation. Your body converts them into nitric oxide through a natural biological pathway. And nitric oxide, gentlemen, is one of the most important molecules your body produces, especially as you age. Think of nitric oxide as your body's open door signal. Imagine your blood vessels are like a network of flexible tubes. When you're young, those tubes stay relaxed and open, allowing blood to flow freely wherever it needs to go. But as we age, especially after 60, those vessels start to stiffen. They tighten up. They lose their flexibility. That's where nitric oxide comes in. When nitric oxide enters your bloodstream, it sends a direct signal to the smooth muscle cells lining your blood vessels. It tells them to relax, to widen, to open up. Within hours of eating beets, your blood vessels respond. They soften. They expand. And suddenly, blood that was struggling to get through narrow passages can flow freely again. Now let me paint you a picture of what this actually means for your daily life. What better blood flow really means when your blood vessels open up and circulation improves. 3 critical things happen. First, your muscles get more oxygen. That means when you're walking upstairs, carrying groceries, or working in the yard, your muscles don't fatigue as quickly. You feel stronger. You recover faster. That afternoon exhaustion that's been weighing you down, it starts to lift. Second, your brain gets more oxygen. And gentlemen, this is huge. Your brain is only 2% of your body weight, but it uses 20% of your oxygen supply. When circulation to your brain improves, your memory sharpens. Your focus improves. You stop walking into a room and forgetting why you went there. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that improved blood flow to the frontal lobe, the area responsible for planning and decision-making, can actually slow cognitive decline. And third, and this is the part most men care about most, blood flow improves to your pelvic region. Let's be honest here. Erections are all about blood flow. When you're aroused, your body needs to send a rush of blood into the erectile tissue of your penis. If your blood vessels are stiff and constricted, that blood can't get where it needs to go. But when nitric oxide relaxes those vessels, suddenly the plumbing works again. This isn't just about intimacy. This is about knowing your body still works. It's about confidence. It's about feeling like yourself again. How to actually use beets. Now here's the best part: you don't need to eat pounds of beets to see results. Studies show that just 1 cup of beetroot juice can make a measurable difference in your blood pressure within 3 hours. 1 cup, that's it. Don't like the earthy taste of beets? I get it. They're not for everyone. But here's a tip from nutritionists that most people don't know: don't peel them. The skin of the beet contains the most concentrated nutrients. When you peel a beet, you're literally throwing away the most powerful part. Instead, scrub them clean, roast them with a little olive oil and sea salt, and add them to your salad. Or if you're short on time, blend beetroot powder into a morning smoothie. You won't even taste it, especially if you add a banana and some berries. And if you really can't stand the taste of beets in any form, you can buy beetroot juice at most health food stores. Just drink a small glass, about 4 to 6 ounces 3 times a week. That's enough to start seeing real changes. Within a few weeks, you might notice your blood pressure numbers dropping. You might feel less winded when you climb stairs. You might even notice improvements in the bedroom. But here's what most men don't know. Beets are powerful. No question. But here's something that might surprise you. There's actually a leafy green that contains more nitrates per gram than beets. And I'm willing to bet it's sitting in your fridge right now. Most men have no idea this vegetable exists. But once you understand how to use it, you'll wonder why your doctor never told you about it. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. What if I told you that a simple handful of greens could do more for your circulation than most prescription medications without a single side effect? No copays, no refills, no risk of drug interactions. Just real food working with your body the way nature intended. Gentlemen, I want to introduce you to something that's been hiding in plain sight. Something so common that you've probably seen it 1,000 times and never realized its power. I'm talking about leafy greens. Specifically, arugula, spinach, and kale. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, here we go, another doctor telling me to eat my vegetables, let me show you something that will change your mind. Arugula is the hidden champion here. And when I say champion, I mean it literally outperforms almost every other food when it comes to nitric oxide production. In fact, arugula contains more nitrates per gram than beets. More than the so-called gold standard we just talked about. Most men have no idea. This isn't some fringe health claim. The CDC recommended diet, the dietary approaches to stop hypertension, emphasizes these exact greens for vascular health. The American Heart Association backs this up with decades of research. These organizations don't make recommendations lightly. They're telling you, eat these greens, and your blood vessels will thank you. But here's what makes leafy greens so fascinating, and why they work differently than beets. The assembly line inside your body: when you eat leafy greens, something remarkable happens. But it doesn't happen instantly, and it doesn't happen in your stomach. The process starts in your mouth. Let me walk you through this step by step. Because understanding this will help you realize why certain habits most men don't even think about can completely sabotage your body's ability to produce nitric oxide. We'll get to that later. But for now, just follow the journey. You take a bite of arugula. You chew it. Those nitrates from the greens mix with your saliva. And here's where it gets interesting. You have bacteria living on your tongue. Not harmful bacteria, good bacteria. These microscopic workers are part of your oral microbiome, and they have one critical job. They convert the nitrates from your food into something called nitrites. Think of this like a factory assembly line. The raw materials, nitrates, come in at the loading dock, your mouth. The workers, tongue bacteria, process those materials and transform them into an intermediate product, nitrites. Then those nitrites travel down to the next station, your stomach. When nitrites hit your stomach acid, they undergo a final transformation. They become nitric oxide, and that nitric oxide enters your bloodstream, travels to your blood vessels, and sends that open door signal we talked about. Your vessels relax. Your circulation improves. Your blood pressure drops. Each step in this assembly line is essential. Remove one step and the whole system shuts down. Your tongue bacteria are the workers. Without them, the factory can't operate. And here's something critical that I need you to remember. There's a common habit most men do every single day that kills these bacteria. We're going to talk about that later, and when I reveal it, it's going to shock you. But first, let me show you what happens when this system works the way it should. What this means for your daily life when you eat leafy greens consistently, and your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide. 3 powerful things happen. First, your blood pressure drops. Not overnight, but within weeks, you'll see measurable changes. We're talking 5 to 10 points off your systolic pressure. For some men, that's the difference between needing medication and not needing it. For others, it means finally getting their numbers into a healthy range after years of struggle. Second, you reduce your risk of claudication. That's the medical term for that painful cramping in your legs when you walk, especially in your calves. It happens because your leg muscles aren't getting enough blood flow. The vessels are too narrow. The circulation is too weak. But when nitric oxide opens those vessels, blood flows freely again. You can walk farther, climb stairs without stopping, move through your day without that nagging ache. And gentlemen, let me tell you, mobility is independence. The World Health Organization has said it clearly. Better circulation means you stay mobile longer. You stay independent longer. You don't become a burden. You keep living your life on your terms. Third, your stamina improves. That crushing fatigue that hits you mid-afternoon, it starts to fade. You have more energy for the things you love, whether that's working in the garage, playing with grandkids, or just feeling like yourself again in the bedroom. This isn't hype. This is what happens when your body gets the nutrients it needs to produce nitric oxide. How to actually eat these greens. Now let's get practical. You need to eat a big handful of arugula or spinach every single day. And when I say big handful, I mean about 2 cups of raw greens or 1 cup if they're cooked. Here's the good news. You don't have to eat them plain. Toss arugula into your morning omelet. Blend a handful of spinach into a fruit smoothie. You won't even taste it, I promise. Add them to salads with a little olive oil and vinegar. Or lightly steam them and season with garlic, which, by the way, is another nitric oxide booster. We'll get to that. Raw is best because heat can break down some of the nitrates. But lightly steamed is still effective, so don't stress about it. The key is consistency. Eat them every day. Now, if greens taste too bitter for you, and I get it, arugula can have a peppery bite. Here's a trick. Pair them with citrus. Squeeze fresh lemon juice over your salad. Add orange slices to your spinach. The citrus cuts the bitterness and makes them more palatable. But here's the beautiful part, and this is where everything starts to connect. Citrus doesn't just make greens taste better. It actually enhances nitric oxide production. There's a specific vitamin in oranges and lemons that doesn't just help your body create more nitric oxide, it protects it from being destroyed before it can do its job. And that, gentlemen, is where we're headed next. Because here's the truth most men never learn. Your body might be producing plenty of nitric oxide right now. But if you're missing one critical nutrient, all that nitric oxide is being destroyed, wiped out by free radicals, before it ever reaches your blood vessels. Let me show you exactly how to stop that from happening. Here's something most men never realize until it's too late. Your body might be producing nitric oxide right now, plenty of it. In fact, but if you're missing one critical nutrient, all that nitric oxide is being destroyed before it can do any good. It's like filling up your gas tank while there's a hole in the bottom. Doesn't matter how much fuel you put in, it's all draining out before you can even start the engine. Gentlemen, let me introduce you to your body's most underrated protector, vitamin C. Now I know what you're thinking. Doc, I've been hearing about vitamin C since I was a kid. What's the big deal? The big deal is this. Vitamin C doesn't just prevent colds or boost your immune system. It plays a bodyguard role for nitric oxide. And as you age, that protection becomes more critical than ever. Let me explain why. The silent attackers inside your body, as we get older, especially after 50, our bodies start producing more of something called free radicals. You've probably heard this term before, but let me tell you exactly what it means and why it matters. Free radicals are unstable molecules that roam around your bloodstream looking for something to attack. They're created naturally as a byproduct of metabolism, but aging, stress, poor diet, and environmental toxins ramp up their production. And here's the problem. Free radicals love to attack nitric oxide. Think of it this way. Imagine nitric oxide as a delivery truck carrying oxygen and nutrients through your bloodstream. Its job is to travel to your blood vessels, deliver its cargo, and tell those vessels to relax and open up. But free radicals? They're like thieves on the highway, trying to hijack that truck before it reaches its destination. They ambush the nitric oxide, break it down, and destroy it before it can ever reach your blood vessels. This process is called oxidative stress, and it's one of the main reasons why men over 60 struggle with circulation, even when they're eating the right foods. You could be eating beets every day. You could be loading up on arugula and spinach. Your body could be producing plenty of nitric oxide. But if free radicals are destroying it faster than you can make it, you're never going to see the benefits. This is where vitamin C steps in. Vitamin C. Your body's security team. Vitamin C acts like a security team protecting that delivery truck. When free radicals try to attack nitric oxide, vitamin C intercepts them. It neutralizes them. It sacrifices itself to protect the nitric oxide so the delivery can get through. Research shows that vitamin C increases what's called the bioavailability of nitric oxide. In plain English, that means more of your nitric oxide survives long enough to actually do its job. Instead of being destroyed within minutes, your nitric oxide stays active in your bloodstream longer. It reaches your blood vessels. It sends that relax and open signal. And you start seeing real improvements in circulation. Let me paint you a picture of what this looks like in your daily life. What happens when you get enough vitamin C? When you pair vitamin C with nitric oxide-boosting foods, 3 powerful things happen. First, your nitric oxide lasts longer in your bloodstream. That means every beet you eat, every handful of spinach, every bit of effort you're putting into your diet, it all works better. You're finally getting the full benefit of those nutrients instead of watching them get destroyed before they can help you. Second, your blood vessels stay flexible and responsive. Vitamin C doesn't just protect nitric oxide, it also strengthens the walls of your blood vessels themselves. It helps them maintain their elasticity, their ability to expand and contract as needed. Think of it like keeping a rubber band supple instead of letting it dry out and crack. As we age, our blood vessels naturally stiffen. That's part of what drives up blood pressure and reduces circulation. But vitamin C slows that process down. It keeps your vessels younger, more flexible, more capable of responding when your body needs more blood flow. And third, and this is what most men care about most, your circulation improves to your extremities, your hands, your feet, and yes, gentlemen, your genitals. Because here's the reality. Erectile function is all about blood flow. When you're aroused, your body needs to send a surge of blood into the erectile tissue of your penis. If your nitric oxide is being destroyed by free radicals before it can, relax those blood vessels. That blood can't get where it needs to go. But when vitamin C protects your nitric oxide, suddenly the plumbing works again. Blood flows freely. Erections become stronger, more reliable, more consistent. This isn't about miracles. This is about giving your body the tools it needs to function the way it's supposed to. How to get enough vitamin C? Here's the good news. You don't need to overthink this. Eat one citrus fruit every single day. An orange, half a grapefruit, a couple of clementines. Or just squeeze fresh lemon juice into your water throughout the day. That's it. Simple, affordable, easy to remember. And here's the key. Pair your citrus with the nitric oxide-boosting foods we've already talked about. Drink your beet juice with a squeeze of lemon. Toss orange slices into your spinach salad. Add grapefruit to your morning routine alongside your greens. The synergy is powerful. You're not just producing nitric oxide, you're protecting it, extending its lifespan, and maximizing its effectiveness. Now, if you're already taking a vitamin C supplement, that works too. Most doctors recommend around 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day for men over 60. But here's what I want you to understand. Whole fruits are always better than pills. Why? Because citrus fruits don't just contain vitamin C, they also contain flavonoids, natural compounds that further protect your vascular health. They contain fiber, which helps regulate blood sugar. They contain water, which keeps you hydrated. A supplement gives you one nutrient in isolation. A piece of fruit gives you a whole package of benefits working together. So if you can, eat the real thing. But here's where it gets even more powerful. We've talked about foods that produce nitric oxide, beets and leafy greens. We've talked about foods that protect nitric oxide, citrus fruits. But now, here's where it gets even better. There's a specific food group that doesn't just protect nitric oxide or help your body convert nitrates into nitric oxide. This food group gives your body the raw material to manufacture nitric oxide from scratch through a completely different pathway. And gentlemen, I'm willing to bet you already have this food sitting in your pantry right now. In fact, you might have eaten some earlier today without even realizing how powerful it is. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. What if I told you your body has a backup factory for nitric oxide, one that keeps working even when the other pathways start to slow down? Gentlemen, this is critical information. Because here's what happens as you age. The nitrate pathway we've been talking about, the one that converts beets and leafy greens into nitric oxide, it doesn't work as efficiently as it used to. Your tongue bacteria might decline. Your stomach acid might weaken. The whole conversion process slows down. But nature gave you a backup plan. There's a second pathway your body uses to manufacture nitric oxide, and it runs on completely different fuel. This pathway doesn't depend on nitrates from vegetables. Instead, it uses protein, specifically an amino acid called L-Arginine. And the best natural sources of L-Arginine? Nuts and seeds, walnuts, pistachios, pumpkin seeds. These aren't just healthy snacks. They're building block foods that give your body the raw materials it needs to manufacture nitric oxide from scratch. Let me show you exactly how this works. Your body's two pathways to nitric oxide. Think of your body like a factory with two separate production lines, both making the same essential product, nitric oxide. Production line number 1 is the nitrate pathway. This is what we've been focusing on. You eat beets, spinach, or arugula. Your tongue bacteria convert the nitrates to nitrites. Your stomach acid converts the nitrites to nitric oxide. Boom, your blood vessels relax. Your circulation improves. Everything works better. But here's the thing. As we age, production line number 1 can slow down. Maybe you're not producing enough stomach acid. Maybe your oral bacteria population has declined. Maybe you're taking medications that interfere with the process. Whatever the reason, that first production line isn't running at full capacity anymore. That's where production line number 2 comes in. This is the L-Arginine pathway. When you eat nuts and seeds, you're consuming L-Arginine, an amino acid that's one of the fundamental building blocks of protein. Your body takes that L-Arginine and feeds it into an enzyme called nitric oxide synthase, or NOS for short. NOS acts like a molecular machine. It takes the L-Arginine, processes it, and converts it directly into nitric oxide. No tongue bacteria needed. No stomach acid required. It's a completely independent pathway. Think of it like having 2 roads to the same destination. If one road has construction or heavy traffic, you take the other. Your body is smart. It doesn't rely on just one method to produce something as critical as nitric oxide. It has redundancy built in. And gentlemen, this is why nuts and seeds are so powerful, especially for men over 60. They keep that second production line running, even when the first one starts to falter. What L-Arginine actually does for you when you eat L-Arginine-rich foods consistently. 3 important things happen. First, your blood vessels maintain their elasticity. Remember, blood vessel stiffness is one of the primary drivers of high blood pressure and poor circulation as you age. L-Arginine helps produce the nitric oxide that keeps those vessels flexible and responsive, able to expand when your body needs more blood flow and contract when it doesn't. It's like keeping a garden hose supple instead of letting it crack and harden in the sun. A flexible hose delivers water wherever you need it. A stiff, brittle hose restricts flow and eventually bursts. Second, L-Arginine supports erection quality. Let's be direct here. When you're aroused, your body needs to produce nitric oxide, specifically in the erectile tissue of your penis. That nitric oxide relaxes the smooth muscle, allows blood to rush in, and creates the rigidity necessary for a functional erection. L-Arginine provides the raw material for that nitric oxide production right where you need it. It's not just about general circulation, it's about targeted blood flow to the areas that matter most. Studies have shown that men who consume adequate L-Arginine experience improvements in both the quality and duration of their erections. Not overnight, but consistently over weeks and months. And third, L-Arginine improves exercise recovery and reduces muscle fatigue. When your muscles work hard, whether you're lifting weights, walking, or doing yard work, they need more oxygen. Nitric oxide dilates the blood vessels feeding those muscles, allowing more oxygen-rich blood to flow in. More oxygen means less lactic acid buildup. Less lactic acid means less soreness, faster recovery, and better stamina. You can do more without feeling wiped out. For men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, that's the difference between staying active and becoming sedentary. It's the difference between independence and dependence. How to actually use nuts and seeds? Here's what I recommend. Eat a small handful, about a quarter cup of walnuts or pistachios every single day. You can eat them as a snack between meals, toss them into a salad, or sprinkle them over yogurt. Pumpkin seeds are another excellent option. They're rich in L-Arginine, plus they contain zinc, which is critical for testosterone production. Double benefit. And here's a pro tip that most men don't know. Garlic is a powerful activator of nitric oxide synthase. It doesn't contain L-Arginine itself, but it helps your body convert L-Arginine into nitric oxide more efficiently. So if you cook with garlic and eat nuts together, say, a salad with walnuts and a garlic vinaigrette, you're getting a synergistic effect. The garlic activates the enzyme, and the nuts provide the raw material. It's a winning combination. Now if you have digestive issues with nuts, some men do, especially as they age, here's what you can do. Soak them overnight in water before eating them. Soaking breaks down some of the compounds that make nuts hard to digest, particularly the phytic acid. Or, if chewing whole nuts is difficult, look for nut butters. Almond butter, walnut butter, or even peanut butter, as long as it's unsweetened and doesn't contain hydrogenated oils. You get the same L-Arginine without the mechanical challenge of chewing. Just avoid the overly processed, sugary varieties. You want pure nuts, ground into a paste. Nothing else. The harsh reality most men ignore. Now here's what I need you to understand. And this is critical. Eating the right foods is only half the battle. If you're over 60, your body might not be converting these nutrients as efficiently as it used to. Your nitric oxide synthase enzyme might not be working at full capacity. Your digestive system might not be absorbing as well as it should. And that's where supplements come in. And this is a big but, not all supplements are created equal. In fact, most men over 60 are wasting money on the wrong supplement. They're taking something that sounds right, but it's not being absorbed effectively. It's passing through their system without doing much good. There's a specific supplement that's far more effective for seniors. It's better absorbed. It lasts longer in your bloodstream. And it produces more nitric oxide with less effort from your body. But there's also a dangerous mistake most men make, a daily habit that's silently sabotaging their nitric oxide production. Something so common, so innocent seeming, that you'd never suspect it's causing harm. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. If you've been taking L-Arginine supplements and wondering why they're not working, this is why. Gentlemen, I see this all the time in my practice. Men come in frustrated. They've been doing their research. They've read that L-Arginine boosts nitric oxide. They've been taking it religiously for months. And they're not seeing results. Their blood pressure hasn't budged. Their energy is still low. And their performance in the bedroom? Still disappointing. They look at me and say, "Doc, what am I doing wrong?" And here's what I tell them. You're taking the wrong supplement. Not because L-Arginine doesn't work, it does. But because for men over 60, there's a better option. One that's backed by research from Medline Plus and the National Institute on Aging. One that actually gets absorbed and used by your body instead of being broken down and wasted. That supplement is L-Citrulline. Let me explain why this matters. Why L-Arginine fails most seniors. When you swallow an L-Arginine supplement, it has to survive a brutal journey through your digestive system. First, it hits your stomach. Then it moves into your intestines where it's absorbed. But here's the problem. From your intestines, it travels directly to your liver. And your liver has enzymes specifically. An enzyme called arginase that break down L-Arginine. Think of it like sending money through a corrupt postal system. You put $100 in an envelope, but by the time it reaches its destination, half of it has been skimmed off along the way. By the time L-Arginine finally reaches your bloodstream, much of it has already been destroyed. You might be getting 30%, maybe 40% of what you swallowed. The rest? Wasted. But L-Citrulline is different. L-Citrulline bypasses that breakdown. It slips past your liver unscathed. It travels through your bloodstream and converts into L-Arginine inside your blood vessels, exactly where you need it. It's like having a direct deposit instead of mailing cash. The money goes straight to your account. No middlemen. No loss. Full value delivered. Studies show that L-Citrulline produces higher and more sustained levels of nitric oxide than L-Arginine, especially in men over 60. That means better circulation, better stamina, and yes, better erections. If you're going to take a supplement, L-Citrulline is the one to take. Aim for 3 to 6 grams per day, split into 2 doses. Take 1 dose in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. Within a few weeks, you should start noticing improvements. The enos uncoupling problem. But here's something even more important that most doctors don't tell you. As we age, there's a phenomenon that happens with the enzyme that produces nitric oxide. That enzyme is called ENOS, endothelial nitric oxide synthase. And in seniors it can uncouple. When enos uncouples, it stops doing its job. Instead of producing nitric oxide, it starts producing free radicals, those harmful molecules we talked about earlier. Imagine a factory that's supposed to be making medicine suddenly starts manufacturing poison instead. Same machinery, but something's gone terribly wrong. This is a major problem. You could be eating all the right foods, taking all the right supplements, and your own enzyme is working against you, producing harmful compounds that damage your blood vessels instead of helping them. Here's the solution. You need to combine your L-Citrulline supplement with antioxidants, specifically vitamin C and CoQ10. These antioxidants prevent enos from uncoupling. They keep the enzyme working correctly, producing nitric oxide instead of free radicals. They protect your investment. So if you're taking L-Citrulline, take it alongside 500 milligrams of vitamin C and 100 to 200 milligrams of CoQ10. That combination ensures your body is producing nitric oxide efficiently and safely. What about beetroot powder? Now, if you don't like the taste of fresh beets, and many men don't, beetroot powder is an excellent alternative. Look for supplements that contain at least 500 milligrams of nitrates per serving. That's the amount research has shown to be effective for lowering blood pressure and improving circulation. You can mix beetroot powder into smoothies, juice, or even just water. It's convenient, it's effective, and it gives you the same benefits as eating fresh beets without the earthy taste. The shocking hidden danger that's sabotaging everything now, gentlemen. Here's where we get to the biggest reveal. The mistake that could be sabotaging all of your efforts. The daily habit that's silently destroying up to 25% of your body's nitric oxide production. Most men never realize this until it's too late. Are you ready? It's your mouthwash. That's right. The antibacterial mouthwash sitting on your bathroom counter, the one you use twice a day to keep your breath fresh, is killing your body's ability to produce nitric oxide. Here's why. Remember back in chapter 2 when I told you about the good bacteria on your tongue? The bacteria that convert nitrates from food into nitrites, which then become nitric oxide. Antibacterial mouthwash doesn't discriminate. It kills all bacteria, the bad and the good. When you swish with mouthwash, you're wiping out the very bacteria your body needs to produce nitric oxide. Research shows that using antibacterial mouthwash twice a day can destroy up to 25% of your nitric oxide production. That's a quarter of your circulation capacity gone, just from a product you thought was helping you. If you've been eating beets, loading up on leafy greens, taking supplements, and still not seeing results, this could be why. What should you do instead? If you need to freshen your breath, use a tongue scraper. Rinse with plain water. Or use a mouthwash that's not antibacterial, one that doesn't contain chlorhexidine or other bacteria-killing chemicals. Your oral health matters, but you don't need to nuke your entire oral microbiome to achieve it. One critical warning before we finish, gentlemen. I need to give you one final warning. And this is serious. If you're taking blood pressure medications, especially ACE inhibitors, or if you're taking nitrate medications like nitroglycerin for angina, you must talk to your doctor before taking any nitric oxide supplements. Nitric oxide lowers blood pressure. If you combine it with medications that also lower blood pressure, you risk dropping your blood pressure too low. That can cause dizziness, fainting, and even falls, which, for seniors, can be life-threatening. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to keep you safe. These supplements are powerful. They work. But they need to be used responsibly, under medical supervision if you're on other medications. So now you know everything. You know the foods that boost nitric oxide. You know the supplements that actually work. You know the hidden mistake that's been sabotaging your efforts. But here's what I want you to understand more than anything else. This isn't just about blood pressure or erections or stamina. This is about your independence, your quality of life, your ability to stay active, sharp, and self-sufficient as you age. Better circulation means a healthier heart, a sharper brain, stronger muscles, the ability to walk without pain, think without fog, and live without limitation. And gentlemen, it's never too late to start. Let me show you exactly what you need to do next. Gentlemen, let's bring this all together. You now have everything you need to take control of your circulation, your energy, and your vitality starting today. Here's your action plan. Eat beets or drink beetroot juice 3 times a week. Add a big handful of arugula or spinach to your meals every day. Eat 1 citrus fruit daily to protect your nitric oxide. Snack on a 1/4 cup of walnuts or pistachios. And if you're going to take a supplement, make it L-Citrulline paired with vitamin C and CoQ10. Most importantly, throw out that antibacterial mouthwash. Stop sabotaging the very system your body needs to stay healthy. But here's what I want you to remember above everything else. It's never too late. I don't care if you're 60, 70, or 80 years old. I don't care how long you've been struggling with low energy, poor circulation, or declining performance. Your body has an incredible ability to heal and rebuild if you give it what it needs. Within weeks of making these changes, you'll start to notice differences. Your blood pressure will drop. Your stamina will improve. You'll feel sharper, stronger, more like yourself again. And yes, gentlemen, things in the bedroom will start working better too. This isn't about chasing your youth. This is about reclaiming your independence, your confidence, and your quality of life. You deserve to feel good in your own body. You deserve to stay active, capable, and self-sufficient for as long as possible. So start today. Pick one thing from this video and do it. Then add another. Build momentum. If this video helped you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future health strategies designed specifically for men over 50. And drop a comment below. I want to know, which of these foods or supplements will you try first? Your health is in your hands. Let's do this together.